Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Shilpi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, ma'am?
Good. It's always good to see you on Friday at 5. That's the only time.
Same here, ma'am. How have you been?
Good, great. Still enjoying the long holiday.
Okay, I am envious as I was when you told me the first
You're
time.
most welcome to come and join me here.
Only if we could.
Open invitation. I know. How's school going?
Ma'am, the children are going to, for us, they're going to come back in October because, we thought we'll wrap up term one online.
Okay.
And
All
by
right.
that time, we'll also buy some time in terms of waiting and watching. So
Right,
keeping our
right.
fingers crossed because the other city schools, like 80% of them are open. So they are quite settled. Like we've not heard of any untoward news in terms of COVID cases.
Right,
So
right.
last time when the schools had opened and by the second day they were shut because there was a case or some teacher getting infected or a child getting infected. So thankfully this time so far so good.
Mhm.
It's been almost 4 weeks now, but that's pretty settled.
Right. Let me just make a call. Sorry.
No, ma'am. Please go ahead. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm Pramod.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
How are you, sir?
Good. All good. Thank
Seeing you after a long time. I'm sure you won't remember, but I do remember meeting you long time back. And it's such a
Yes,
pleasure to see you again.
It's been some time, yes, quite.
Yes. So you are at Delhi right now, sir?
Yes, I'm in Noida. That's
Okay,
where
sir.
I live. Yes.
Right.
Sir, very good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Atul.
I'm so happy that you finally found time to be on Friday.
Not really.
Good evening.
Hello,
Arpit,
Arpit.
sir. Good evening, Arpit.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, everybody.
Good
Hi,
evening,
Arpit.
sir.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Pleasure's all mine, sir. Lovely, lovely.
Sir, प्रमोद जी, can I request you, आप अपने जो कैमरा है ना उसको हल्का सा ऐसे मूव करो ताकि then we will, yeah, this is much better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your shine, Mr. Pramod.
Oh, hi, Balaji. Kaise hain?
How are you?
I'm good. All good.
Good
We
evening,
must
Bala,
meet.
sir.
Balaji, we must meet when you are in Delhi next.
Yeah, I'm there by last week of this month or maybe first week.
Okay.
So what I said, what I told him was that in on 31st September or 30th September, whatever is the last date, ICSL is completing 3 years of existence. So we will have a birthday party, and I requested him to come in the first week of October, and then we'll all get together and spend some time together.
Right.
That's wonderful. That's
So I'm planning a small get together for everybody.
yes. I prefer the evening get-togethers.
I know. So
Yeah.
well, this time
really
we
looking
will
forward.
meet for dinner. So we'll start at 7 and end it at 11 o'clock.
Yeah. Pramod, I'm looking forward to.
Thank you.
So Shilpi and Harinder will also have to fly to Delhi for that event.
Sir, I don't mind, but I'm only worried about Harinder, ma'am, because I'm sure she's not going to, compromise on the fact, her location, come what may. And Delhi anyway cannot be bartered for that.
No,
So we can have it here.
Yeah, that's a better thing. Yes, certainly. And I'll also feel a little less envious of you, ma'am.
Okay, we have one more panelist that needs to join us.
I'll just call him once.
Just so that we can start on time.
I have called him, ma'am. He's joining in 1 minute. Just a minute.
getting a bit stormy here. I only wish the current doesn't go.
या यहाँ पे तो सर बारिश होनी शुरू हो गई अभी 2 मिनट पहले.
अभी यहाँ भी आज बारिश है, बादल इतने हैं.
And I believe in Delhi, it's very humid.
Yes, it is.
So, Harinder, are you starting the thing or am I giving the first?
You have the opportunity to start. I
Okay.
give you that privilege. But give me some time for the questions. I have a long list of questions today. You always cut into my time.
So we have a lot to discuss today, and it's a very important topic.
I know. No, you can go ahead,
So
Atul.
let's hope that. No, we will definitely have time for question answers.
Okay.
And we a couple of thoughts to contribute. So
Yes, absolutely. So we're looking forward to all of that.
Priya, can you hear me? Can you once again call him? Oh, he's there. Right.
Is there, ma'am?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Shogi, yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Shogi, for being with us.
Pleasure to be here.
So very quickly, let me just explain how we will take this show forward. We'll start exactly in 2 minutes. The first 40 minutes is a discussion among ourselves, the panelists, where we focus on suggesting some way forward for school leadership to prepare for the emerging future, primarily. And then the last 20 minutes is where Harinder ma'am takes up some of the questions that the audience will pose. So we try to take as many questions as possible. My only request to the panelists would be to keep their responses brief so we can touch upon multiple things. So I think the philosophy behind Friday at 5 is to provide pragmatic solutions to teachers and direction to principals. So the idea is not really to get into the philosophical or the political aspect of things, but really focus on what can be done and how do we prepare for tomorrow and for the emerging, immediate things. We are pretty punctual. We'll start at 5. We'll end at 6 o'clock. And this is a very, we laugh on it. We laugh on the show. We have fun. It's a pretty nice, casual conversation. Nothing serious about it, although you are being video recorded. So please be politically correct, because I don't want anybody to see it. So the jokes have to be under the belt, not under the belt. So that's how we do it. And we'll begin with this video, short video from our sponsors.
For education leads to knowledge, and knowledge leads to power and wisdom. To excel in education, a credible and authentic source of quality books is a prerequisite for feeding the brains hungry for knowledge and information. News Saraswati House, India Private Limited, a leading Indian publishing house, is highly acclaimed and reputed for student-friendly and pedagogically sound textbooks.
Thank you very much, Priya. Welcome, all of you. Priya, you'll have to stop screen share. Great, thank you. Welcome to the 55th episode of Friday at 5. This has been a very long journey for us. Over the last 55 weeks, we have deliberated on a lot of important issues in school education. Luckily for us, we have been able to find a new concern, a new subject each week, and we have not yet repeated any topic. I think that's that tells us how many critical aspects there are which we need to discuss in education in depth. The show is organized by International Council for School Leadership with the support of S. Chand Group. And we are very thankful to our sponsors for giving us this opportunity to bring some of the best known experts from across India and also from outside India to benefit the school education community. This week, we are talking about school leadership for the emerging future. I think all of us who have witnessed the last 18 months closely pretty much realize that the future is not going to be any way similar to the past. There's going to be a lot of changes that we would expect. Now, the beauty is we really don't know what this future is going to be. It's actually almost impossible for us to predict or even control the future. And that is in line with what chaos theory also suggests. But also the human aspect of it tells us that the speed at which education is changing, the pace at which some of the reforms are being implemented, the speed with which technology is coming into the classrooms and into our lives, it's really very tough for any expert or anybody to really predict what education would be 2 years from today, or what a school environment would look like 2 years from. But still, that doesn't stop us from sharing our thoughts. I think that's the whole purpose of this show also. What do we feel it's going to be? We have some great experts with us today, and a combination of experience and youth. I must say I'm very, very happy, to see our panel here. Let me start with the youngest guy in our team. So let me begin with welcoming Arpit Panjwani. Arpit is the director of Ma Anandmai Memorial School. And he has been a professional. He comes from a non-teaching background, from a corporate background, and he decided to switch to education. I wonder what he saw there, but I'm sure he is going to tell us what he saw there. He could have made more money in the previous occupation. And Arpit, just my gray hair will tell you, man, we don't have very rich people in education, okay? So there's still time for you to go back. But thank you, Arpit, for being with us today. I also have with me Mr. Payam Shogi. He's the founder principal of Venkateshwar Signature School, a man who has invested considerable amount of years into education in different roles, and now leading and founding, a school. And I think he's based out of Pune, if I'm not wrong. So Payamji, thank you very much for being with us. I also have with me two veterans of school education. Mr. Pramod Sharma. Anybody who has been into education it's not possible that you have not heard of him. Now you get to see him and listen to him also. He is currently an education consultant and the vice president of Genesis Global School. He was the principal of Mayo College, Ajmer, for a very long time, and he established that school as a very futuristic school, catering to people who are looking for a great future. And I visited the school. It's damn awesome. It's a very good school. His office used to be very impressive in Mayo. That building used to be very impressive. So, sir, thank you very much for being on the show. He's also the member of advisory board of ICSL. We also have Mr. Balasubramanian on the show. Again, an iconic person in school education in India. He was the former director academics of CBSE. And he has visited almost every school in the country. I'm joined on this show by my colleagues, Harinder Sraw. She's the national program coordinator of ICSL. And she's the one who's going to be taking up your questions for the board for the panelists. So please do give her some tough questions. And this is a very great panel. They have answers to everything, so you can ask them everything. And if they don't know it, trust me, nobody else knows it. And I can vouch for it. If these four people can't answer your questions, there's hardly anybody left in India. So that's why we are very happy to have this panel. I'm also glad to be joined by Shilpi Sood Gill from Ludhiana. She's a principal of a school there, and she's going to be monitoring all the chats. So please do write your comments on the chat. We don't give any certificates, so you don't have to do good morning, good evening there. You can just write your comments. There is no attendance for this show. The show is being controlled technologically by Priya Gupta, our youngest member of ICSL. Thank you, Priya, for doing such a wonderful job.
It's been my pleasure.
Let me quickly get into the big question. And I'm going to ask that question to each of my 4 panelists, just to get an idea of. So there are 2 major things that have happened. One in school education. One is obviously the pandemic. Schools were closed. And the second is the national education policy. These 2 big events have really taken almost everybody by surprise. And I'll tell you why national education policy has taken everybody by surprise. A lot of people, when the policy was released, assumed that like all the other policies in the past, this would also be a paper policy and it would never ever get reflected on the ground. That's what a lot of people said, that, even earlier, a lot of policies have come and nothing has happened. We saw the death of NCF 2005. It came, nobody even read it. Most people were not even aware of it. And nothing that the policy said really translated into real classroom difference. But this time, it seems that things are slightly different. CBSE has already started making reforms in the examination pattern. We are moving towards competency-based education. The first exam is going to be a multiple choice exam. We never thought that a board exam would be a multiple choice exam. There are a lot of other initiatives also being put into place in terms on a national level. Now, that makes us believe that implementing NEP is not going to be a choice. It's going to be, it's going to come for us. Now, if we don't work on it, if we don't work on some of the pedagogical and assessment reforms that have been mentioned in NEP, we might get left out. The pandemic, of course, has brought in a lot of technology into our system. Technology we never believed could enter. I mean, there were principals who never knew how to even check their emails, to be honest with you, in India. They had a secretary to actually check their email and bring the printout to them. And the response also used to come from the secretary because the principal would just dictate the answer. The guy did not know how to work a keyboard also. And he never felt the need to do it also because life was going on very smoothly. That is the reality on the ground. But suddenly now that principal is also doing Zoom because there is no other way to collect the fees but to have a Zoom session with the parents, right? So now we have to do a Zoom call. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So I think at every level, technology has come into the play. Now, because of these 2 factors, the pandemic as well as the NEP, what do you feel in your observation are the major changes that have impacted school leadership? So not the school system, but as a school leader. So how has the life of a school leader changed because of these 2 things? Let me begin with Mr. Pramod, and let's get the experience first, and I'll move in that order to Arpit. So Pramodji, all yours.
Well, pandemic, as I see, has definitely changed the life of school principal because most of the established schools never felt the need to be answerable to the parents. It was often said that it is easier to meet anybody but the principal of a school. Today, because the fees was not coming, because the students they did not know how to react to a pandemic. The online, when it started, it was quite a challenge for principals as well as teachers. But the good news is that teachers have been able to come across as great learners and have been able to come up beyond the expectations that we had. And today, almost everybody is absolutely at home with the technology to conduct online classes. But now, at this point of time, the ground is changing. Some students are inside the classroom, some are still at home, and this, I suspect, will continue till at least this year. And once this kind of skill is learned, it will carry on in different shades and sizes next year and year after. So, though it is very easy to talk about blended learning, but really, how many schools, how many school leaders have been able to equip their schools with hybrid learning model? That's justice is being done to the children in school and also who are behind. Is the technology inside the classroom ready? So I think that is a huge challenge, as I see, though we are talking about online learning, but the hybrid model is not ready and is not perfect, to say the least.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. In fact, I was talking to one of the principals yesterday in Noida of a good school. And they said the biggest problem is, like, once we get all the teachers inside the classroom, we don't even have the bandwidth to do online classes. I mean, we don't even have the technology. And then the cost of putting technology, proper technology, is close to 60 to 70 lakh rupees, where you have good Wi-Fi connection for every classroom. So technological readiness is definitely one of the challenges that we are going to be facing. Mr. Shogi, what do you feel are some of the major changes that have impacted school leadership, apart from technology?
Let me first express my gratitude for having me over this panel discussion. Pleasure to be here. I will take on this issue of technology because it's very revealing when we talk about change and leadership change. There's something, it's not only limited to the pandemic, but what the pandemic has done is it's reinforced that process of change. Something that I've realized is that there's been an increasing affinity for technology and by extension for innovation and trying to do things differently among school leaders. I think the realization has come that we can no longer follow the beaten path of a certain manner in which we've been running our schools. We need to do things differently, be it the IGCSE pressure, be it the IB pressure. The traditional schools of CBSE, ICSE, state boards are realizing that they need to reinvent themselves. Therefore, that has affected also the school leadership. However, there's a problem there, that change and innovation is being externally driven. So you have what I like to call a push factor. So somebody comes and says, we have this wonderful product and it's a great thing for you, and this offers what they call solutions. And then somebody takes that and runs with it, and it remains pocketed in certain spheres within the school. And well, we have done something differently, but without it becoming a part and parcel of the school and some ownership for it and all. That element of pull that I am in, so because I'm thinking differently, because I want to do something different, I start looking around for solutions, and then I find something and I imbibe that, and then I make sure that that serves a particular purpose. Although that's not happening, but I think it's very, very encouraging to see this kind of a shift that's happening towards innovation, towards wanting to do things differently. I think we are still in a state of inertia. Time will also offer us the will and the know-how to do that. What the pandemic has done is that it has brought this effect, this whole process through every level of the school's operation. So everybody now is into talking about, now it's common language. We talk about technology, we talk about all sorts of tools, and it's not just Zoom, it's about everything. Tools that teachers can employ to teach and for parent-teacher meetings and everything. So this, I think, will continue from here. And I hope that the pull factor will be one factor of change among the school leadership where we think differently. You mentioned the NCF 2005. I've read it. I swear by that document. It's all about innovation. It's all about doing things differently. It's all about toning down the level of competition that is there in the schools. It's all of that. So maybe after the new education policy, it's time for newer framework for curriculum, and that will happen. One more thing that I've realized that there's been change among the leadership is we are tending to become a little bit more open. Now, whether we do that grudgingly or it's being driven by government policies, but we are becoming more open. For example, for schools, we find that the parents are seen as an unnecessary intrusion, and we hold them outside closed doors and appointments and hours. As a parent, I have experienced that. As a teacher trainer, I have experienced that. That's changing, and it's just right that it's changing. It's just as well that it's changing. So there are some of the changes that are happening, not necessarily promoted or by the pandemic, but they've been there. But I think now pandemic has made us open our doors wide, although we don't meet physically, but we are there. We have to interact with parents, with everybody. So there are these two changes that I can discern very clearly, and they are changed for the better. And just now the question remains, what happens after the dust settles and schools open? Are we going to go back to our good old days? Or
we'll take it up in the next question, but I think what you pointed out absolutely right is apart from technology, it's the innovation that has come into schools. The principal is now thinking about innovative ways to run the school, manage the school. And also one other thing that Mr. Shogi, you pointed out is accessibility. We are more accessible. We are open. Parents have become an important stakeholder in the discussion, where in larger schools, they were really considered more of an interference rather than a partner. Arpit, how do you look at, because you are obviously not the age group which, unless you really have taken a pill to look younger, but you are one of those young leaders, okay, who came into education, and maybe you started off with a very non-traditional approach. But do you also feel that the old leadership, or when you started, it has gone through some significant change because of these two factors?
Absolutely, sir. Let's start with Mr. Pramod Sharma. I would never in my life imagine him to be on such a panel discussion. But of course, having known him for all these years, I know that he's been a very adaptive, flexible, and a very approachable school leader. So yes, and I think it all starts with all the esteemed panelists that we have on this August audience over here. So I feel like everybody's had to take that giant leap of faith and, upgrade themselves and, take that sort of impetus to go ahead and walk the talk. I think it even starts with the most seasoned and established school leaders who've realized that technology is the future, not just to transact, but also to manage teams, also to gather information, also to upgrade themselves and make sure that their respective team members are moving ahead with the times. So I feel most certainly, I think it's been a game changer of sorts. Everybody's realized that moving forward, it's not going to be very feasible and possible. And I think as one of the panelists said, at least for this year, I would say even next year, there isn't any significant evidence to believe that schools will completely open and we might not have to depend on hybrid learning or blended learning of sorts. So I think, yes, even the older generation, given that I haven't taken any pill, to be honest, but yes, even the older generation of a lot of the people who inspire me sitting right here, if they've revved it up and, of course, gone ahead and made that shift, there is no reason why people of my generation or people even in a mid-generation between yours and mine can't make that shift. So I think I give them the very example that, if all the retired school leaders can do it, why can't teachers currently teaching, go ahead and imbibe all the tools available, all the resources available, and of course, go ahead and attend professional development opportunities, a lot of which are available free of cost.
Great. So I think that bridges the gap between the experience and the youth, what you've just said. Balaji, I'll come to you with this question slightly later on, okay, because I'm going to club one or two questions for you and then I'll bring you in. Let me go on to another very important question. So traditionally, I think, we all would agree that to become a school principal, you have to become, you have to serve as a PGT and become a HOD for a lot of years. And only when you successfully grade your hair to a certain level, then you would considered as a school principal, because certain kind of experience was needed. Now, what has happened now is because suddenly even the most seasoned teachers in a school were not tech savvy, some of the younger teachers in the school really brought in the technology into the school, and they made sure that everybody survived. So there's a new breed of emerging school leaders that has been created in every school. These guys have already shown the way. Will we start seeing a lot more younger teachers emerging as potential school leaders in the future, and not necessarily have that chair as a pre-retirement chair? Pramodji, what do you think?
Yes, I think that's a good thing which will happen, and I'm sure it is happening even when the time that we
So I think we are having some technology issue.
yes,
Yeah, we have some connection issue with you, sir.
yes. Can somebody else take this? I will come back.
Yeah, so I'll take that question to Mr. Shogi. Do you feel that a younger breed of school leaders is about to come on the horizon now?
Well, certainly, it's already there. And I think the system will make it happen. The system has its own dynamic that will quickly recognize. You see, we know there are numbers, there are statistics that there is a shortage of teachers in the whole job market. So you have, and the moment teachers upgrade their skills, they are picked up by the so-called IB, IGCSE, and those kind of schools and institutions. And so, but thankfully, there's a steady flow of teachers who are there. So the system will take care of it. If you have those qualities and skills and abilities, you'll be recognized. Somebody becomes a coordinator, a vice principal, and they keep moving up. So I think the system takes care of that. But there's something I need to point out here. A new crop of teachers is also going along with a new crop of parents. See, the new generation parents have new aspirations. It's very interesting for me. I've been in this line for 25 years. And early on, parents would come and ask me about what is the percentage of success and 90 percenters in your board exams, and what are these academics, and what kind of infrastructure you have, and all of that. Today, the new parents are coming and they're not interested so much about that. They're saying, what kind of skilling programs do you have in your school? What kind of, for example, value education? I'm very excited about this. Nobody ever comes and asks about value education while taking admission, but parents are doing that. What kind of, for example, other programs do you run? So what sports activities? What kind of sports activities do you have? Now, with that kind of expectation from parents, the new crop of teachers are bound to be able to fulfill that, to equip themselves to fulfill that. And I think once they start doing that, they will shine out, and the system will acknowledge them and put them in these leadership positions.
Great. So I think that's, so Pramodji, I want to still understand your view also on this. Do you see the school managements, also considering younger people as school principals in the future, people who are more skilled to manage the future rather than with more experience of the past, because that experience of the past might be less valuable than the skills of the future?
Yes, I think quite right. Not that it is happening now, even earlier, one could hear of teachers who became very successful heads of schools, even at age of 32, 35, and 30s, though most of us became principals at a later date. But having said that, I think apart from technological savviness that they bring it, they are also much more open, and they are not really believers, hopefully, I think, of top-down leadership, that only instructions will come. We were told that whenever an issue comes in, the faculty will discuss it openly. We could say, even as the youngest member of staff, you could say anything you wanted and bring your point across, not have a debate, but make your point. And once the decision is taken, the whole team will follow the decision that has been arrived at. So in the same light, I would like to say that there will be much more democratic leadership, and the younger people, I think, would be more prone or more easy for democratic leadership, which a panelist said that the more openness it will bring. Though I'm a little confused because the other day I was outside a principal's office and saw a board saying, please ensure that your cell phone is left behind. So this is a new thing happening in schools, that earlier you couldn't go into that room. Now you can't take your cell phone inside. Obviously, perhaps to avoid recording devices. But I would request the principals to please see the small spy kind of a cameras and recording devices which are available in plenty on the internet. I think now they will have to worry about those
devices rather than so we or stop doing things that need to be spied upon. that could be the other alternative. Make a separate chamber for those where you have to frisk everybody before they get in. Arpit, one of the very important things that principals have witnessed is all of them have gone through random change. Okay. Now, change management actually is a very complex process. Okay. And a lot of the principals, who were a lot of school leaders were very senior, and they did not really have to undergo these kind of changes in their careers ever. I mean, the horse was running smoothly. It was not. It was going on fine. The ride was good, and I was close to my retirement, etc., etc. And suddenly, these are the people who have to undertake so many changes. So, as change agents, right, or as change managers, how much do you think is school leadership ready for that process? Because a lot of what we have done right now is a response to survive. So I want whatever steps we have taken in our school education system, as Pramodji was also mentioning, that we are talking about hybrid learning, but where is the successful hybrid learning model in any school? So we are reacting to a situation rather than creating a response for that situation. Right. What kind of change management process do you think school leaders should look at?
Sir, to be honest, of course, I do agree, even at my age, that we weren't exactly prepared or skilled enough to be facing such an uncertain environment going forward. So to expect it from very senior, established and esteemed school leaders at that age would just be a utopian, whimsical phenomena. But having said that, I guess, it's not a situation that we haven't encountered or we could possibly encounter in future. We already know it's dawned upon us. And I guess we need to devote, each one of us as school leaders or parts of the management in educational institutions needs to devote a significant amounts of our time going forward into thinking and involving ways where we can actually bridge this gap going forward. Given that we've already made a certain shift to, like you rightly said, survive, I think it's important to go forward, think maybe 5 years down the line of how a situation could possibly be. And just in cases, as in big MNCs where they make their senior leaders go through processes and go through courses and go through some sort of evolutions to understand how the technology, how the world is going to change. The way Google thinks, or the way Facebook thinks, or the way Philips continues to think how technology or how the use of technology is going to shift and continue to take. So I can give you the example of my best friend. He works at Google, and they give them about an hour or two off every week so that they can actually think and conceptualize and come up with better ideas. So in the same way, as school leaders, probably we need to give ourselves time, and of course our senior leaders, parts of our senior management and the school leaders who work with us, and of course people who are involved in STEM education, and those who transact technology, the ICT heads, give them enough time so that they can make sure that they come up with viable solutions which can really help increase the learning outcomes, and of course make blended learning more effective.
Balaji, my question to you, starting from what Arpit just said, schools, unlike corporates like Google or Facebook or anybody else, Philips, and we are not endorsing any of these brands since they have not paid us. Maybe somewhere down the future we will try to endorse Google. But Balaji, are you online with us? Because I can see your video camera absolutely still.
Yeah, I'm there very much. No problem.
Okay, great, wonderful. So my big question is that in your experience of school education, schools were always thought of something very rigid. They were very rigid systems of operations. Every school had their own set procedures, and they did not want to deviate from that. That was a time, when I joined DPS to when I left DPS, it was run in the same manner. And I'm sure 25 years after I've left DPS, it's being run in the same manner, which Mr. Deendayal, started very, very nicely. Do you think that schools and school leaderships in the future would be a lot more dynamic system where change, innovation, and processes would be a lot more dynamic, and school leaders will have to become that important change agent on a continuous basis? What is your view on that?
Well, I leadership is always a dynamic concept. You were just telling a few minutes before young people being appointed as a principal is possible or not. I go back to my own days in 1978 when I was appointed principal. I was hardly 31 years. To stop management for introducing computers in 79. They said that's the reason why we should not appoint young people as principals. That happened 40 years before. And any person who takes a leadership position has got to be a person who is conscious of the future. Of a future, it becomes a dynamic concept over there. I'm extremely happy if young people could come to leadership level, because they might have a differentiated, and we should be able to have a thinking. The point is that today in education, what's happening? Process of reverse osmosis. In other words, 30 years before, what was the schools were impacting the social environment, and today social environment impacting the school system, because the reverse osmosis. So the leadership ought to be conscious of what's happening inside, and therefore facilitate change. They have got to be change managers continue. My principals used to tell the teachers that you are all in the comfort zone. But today, my principals and school leaders have got to come out of the comfort zone, because the teachers, the principals and school leaders, you don't be in the zone. That's exactly what's happening. Keep up technology. Technology is which is going to lead in leadership. There are 101 other factors influence the leadership over that. Good academic leader has got to be a thought leader today, rather than being a simple positional leader. I think that is a call of the future in school leadership.
Great, sir. I think that's very important. You need to be a thought leader as a school leader. But let me come to now two remaining questions before I hand you Harinder. One thing is that today's principal's job, school leadership job, is not easy. It's one of the most stressful jobs. Okay, let's also understand that. We in the last 20 minutes or so, we have talked about what we expect from school leadership. The question is, let's look at this guy, this person. The management almost wants the school principal to deal with everybody, from the police to the parents to the children to the municipal corporation. So every brick in the school, if it falls, it's the responsibility of the school principal. Obviously, parents don't know the management, so all their expectations converge on the principal. If something is not happening, that the final the head that they want to really hurt is the principal. The teachers obviously want principals to guide them, mentor them, and blame them for not providing them the right atmosphere or the right laptop or the right dongle, etc. Now, this principle, let's look at that. I mean, how does this guy prevent endoscopy, and how does this guy prevent stress levels? What does the principal do to have fun? I've never seen principals having fun. Mr. Shogi, what do you advise school leaders to chill out and take care of their stress levels? How do you do it? Now, don't tell me that you meditate and exercise, because that we know is the universal solution. Yeah.
I'm not going to say any of that. But for me personally, if you enjoy the work you're doing, and if you enjoy, which I do, being around children, being around trying new ideas every time and all of that, there's no stress. You have the management on top, you have the teachers under you, you have parents on your sides, and you're completely put in a corner. You really have to, otherwise there's no way you can survive. Now, I have found that there are a few things. It's all about your attitude. Like Arpit, I also made a shift from the corporate sector much earlier. I studied to be a mechanical engineer, but I chose this field. And if you enjoy doing that, then really stress and all of that doesn't matter. But it's all about the attitude. We talked about process of change and change management. Apart from all the know-how and the theories and all of that and expertise, there is one thing at the heart of change, and that is a predisposition to learning, a preparedness to learn all the time, and have the humility to accept that I don't know everything and I need to learn. As everything around me changes, I need to also change. I help my school to also follow that path of change. So there are a few things that we need to have, which I think it goes with the position. I'm the principal, I know everything, I've been at it for 25 years, so this is it. But it actually doesn't work that way. It's really the frame of mind that we carry with ourselves into our schools. And it's contagious. If as a principal, I am modeling this humility and this thirst for knowledge and ability to wanting to learn, teachers, it's an organizational culture, then that takes shape. And then you do not necessarily have a lot of stress. Another thing that I would like to say is about being open. We talked about openness. In my schools, I have found the way of having a very good relationship with parents. First of all, it is a realization that these children belong to them. We are just taking care of their children. So we are allies to the parents. Another thing, if I make a mistake, I accept it before a parent. That the parents open up to you, they trust you. And then whenever you have to make a tough decision, they come forward and they support you for it. So there are a few things that I think it boils down to the level of principles and values.
Okay. If
I can just add something to that.
So Arpit, how do principals stay happy during these times? Apart from the individual thing.
Honestly, you started from why I made the shift, honestly, because there's nothing I feel more rewarding than, of course, helping a child grow and achieve their fullest and most optimum. So I feel like there's nothing that makes more change than education by itself in our society. But in terms of managing stress, of course, being empathetic is very important. And I think how school leaders, I think the best ones that I learned from is the ones who can really embrace failure themselves and put their hands up and say, yes, I did make a mistake, but I'm here to learn and I'm here to accept, and I'm here not just to change everybody else, but to change myself at the start.
Okay.
So yes, and of course, like I said, this field is extremely rewarding. So it all comes back, and you can just get rid of the stress when you feel like you see the kids doing well by itself.
Okay. So these are okay. So these are very good philosophical, very nice answers. I'm going to go with Mr. Pragmatic Pramod ji here. Sir, don't give me a theoretical answer that inner soul hota hai, happiness hota hai, bachon ka ye karna hai. You have dealt with the stress of being principal of very, very high institutes in the country. Sir, give some tips to some of the school leaders here. How do they manage the stress that they are going through, and the expectations from them, how do they manage that? Expectation management kaise karenge, sir? Pragmatic tips. Pramod ji.
Well, I would say that looking after your own health is extremely important. So, fortunately, I was part of residential school setup. So children played and I played. I started my day with a set of tennis and I invested that much time. So that has kept me even till today very fit. Though I do not play tennis anymore, I do not play badminton anymore. So having played, you invest in your future health. Secondly, since children, your rapport with the children, and ultimately, as Arpit said, about being empathetic to the children, to feel one. The children could come to you at any point of time, share your difficulties, and they know that you will help them resolve those. So that kind of confidence, if you have been able to build up in the school around you, that is a great success. And really, taking holidays out with the family perhaps is a great stress buster, but never occurred to us. We never got it done. We took a holiday wherever we went for work, took a couple of days off and made the best of it. To take a holiday like that, we have not been able to do, but I think it is worth considering. We have mixed up our family life with school life, and we could not make that boundary very clearly. And well, that happened to me. I'm sure it happened to lots of others, but newer generation, I think, will be able to keep that demarcation on better.
Yes. I think it's very important to balance. I mean, as said, take care of your health, please, and bring in the human element. Okay, don't worry about the process. Humanize school leadership. Okay, connect with people, whether it's students, whether it's parents. Have fun with them, and obviously, holiday. Take a break. Don't take work home. I mean, give yourself a break, guys, because trust me, this is not something that is going to go that is going to disappear tomorrow. The way it's going right now, 2021, this year looks like a continuous challenge, and the next year too could be equally bad, because next year is where you would be stabilizing, coming out of pandemic, and finding that parents are now expecting digital education, online education. Students are now asking you in the class, why can't we do this at home the way we did it earlier? So why are you making us sit in front of a blackboard and copy notes? Because you can just make a copy and send it to us on WhatsApp the way you used to do it in 2020 and 21. So there are a lot of expectations that are going to come on you guys. Please balance that life. Don't succumb to so much pressure. But at the same time, become a thought leader. Innovate. You have to become a pedagogical leader. You have to become a true leader which is innovating, because that is the only way you can bring in reforms in pedagogy, assessment, and implement technology for better and improved and effective hybrid learning models. With that, I'm going to hand over to Harinder for some questions. Harinder ji, please go ahead. Let's pick up some good questions. You are muted. Harinder ji, you are muted.
Sorry. Thank you, Atul. Good evening, everyone. It seems we are all on the same page and agree that an understanding and practice of leadership responsive to this world is needed, given today's highly interdependent world full of enormous complexity, accelerating change, and unforeseen and unprecedented events. Maybe that is one of the reasons that I have a long list of questions for all the panelists here today. So I'll quickly start. The first question is from Hital Tarpada from Kokilaban Dhirubai Ambani Reliance Foundation School, Jamnagar. What are the dynamic roles of the school leadership team? Are they to look after only academics or non-academic operational marketing issues too in the coming days? Mr. Shogi, would you like to take this up, please?
Well, it depends on the terms of reference given to that leader, I guess. There are some schools that have so-called CEOs, and then they have a headmaster, and they have different roles. But if there's one person in charge, then he better take care of everything. There's no compartmental, there's no fragmented leadership. You have to take care of everything, even the people, even the staff, and whatever it is. So there's no escaping from any of that.
Right, thank you. Mr. Pramod Sharma, sir, this question is for you, and it's asked by Mridula Mahajan, who is the principal of Dr. D.Y. Patil School, Pune. Leaders will need to constantly hone their leadership skills to keep pace with the emerging future. What questions an evolving leader will need to continually ask himself or herself to stay updated and keep pace with the changing times?
I think one needs to read a lot. One needs to see what is happening outside the country and within this country, attend as many conferences as possible, and so that you are updated with new ideas. And I think delegate your authority, pass on the responsibility to your team, and tell them to take decision and report after taking decision, so that they learn responsible behavior and they learn to take responsibility, which I think principals are very hesitant to give that kind of responsibility. I think that's a great way of learning, and every day the field is changing, the rules are changing. I'm sure you would also do extremely well.
Thank you so much, sir. I think this question is right for Arpit, so I'll request him to take it. Mohini Bishnoi, Supervisor, Delhi World Public School, Jodhpur. She's the one asking this question. As a leader, you have team members who are double your age and have more degrees than you. At times, it becomes difficult to handle as they are not ready to embrace the change. How to deal with such situations effectively? Arpit.
Very good question, and very aptly said. Although I would humbly admit that thankfully they don't have twice as many degrees, so I did complete my education in but notwithstanding, ma'am, it is a challenge most certainly. When I walked into this space, I realized that everybody is way more qualified and much older. So you do need to deal with a lot of humility and tactfulness, and of course, watch your weight right very carefully. And for that, I'm extremely thankful to most of my teachers, educators who guided me at the very beginning, whether at the Doon School or at my college. So I was, pretty careful of seeking the right guidance and knowing, and then of course, guiding people. I just didn't make my way and talk out of my head because I didn't come from an educational background, and which is why it's very important for a leader. I said in the beginning that you need to put your hand up and admit where you're wrong and where you don't know something. And I continue to say that I've learned on the job. I didn't know much about, lesson planning or of course, how to handle such situations. And I'm very fortunate that I learned over the years with some very respectable and seasoned school leaders who guided me through.
Thank you, Arpit.
Hold on. Arpit has very, very nicely, he has avoided to answer the real question. So let me ask you the real question.
So my alternative career was diplomacy. I just didn't try hard.
But diplomacy doesn't work on Friday at 5. So let me ask you a question. So you are on one side and Pramodji is on the other side.
Before you complete the question, sir, Pramodji is always right. I mean,
see, that's the point. Now
that's again being diplomatic.
That's what again diplomacy. Now what you're saying is, so you are right, and Pramodji is making an error. Okay. So how would you deal with that situation? You can't say he is always right.
So, I mean, usually I learned women are always right, and in case of any confusion, refer to rule 1 above. But I would ideally put that in Pramod sir's case. But just in case I do need to do this, given that I'm a younger person, how I do it is I route it through my father, if at all I have to do it. Let's put it that way.
And that's a good answer. So I'll just add 1-2 cents bit of this. So one of the things is this used to happen a lot with me also in my younger days.
Right.
There were a lot of senior people who I had to confront, and I had to, tell them that, look, this is not the right way to do it, or their knowledge of mathematics is not correct. And what I chose was, I used to go with data. So instead of presenting my own personal opinion, I used to, and this is, a feedback, because a lot of young leaders are going to be emerging. Okay. Don't share your opinion and say that your opinion is right, because every opinion is right.
It's a relative proposition.
Yeah, it's a very, so opinions are never wrong. It's just everybody's opinion. But I think if you have even a seasoned professional who has a lot of experience, and if you show them real-time data on the basis of which you're making a recommendation. So there are difference between sharing an opinion and sharing a recommendation, right? So if you make a recommendation based on certain data, certain feedback, so for example, you want a certain process in the school needs to be changed, which pertains to parents, do a survey of parents, get some data collected, present that data to the principal saying, look, we did this survey, this is what we have found, based on this is my recommendation. And now you are the best judge to take a call. So there are ways to manage just the way, any new young IAS officer would manage a mantri. That is how you manage a seasoned person. There are certain norms to do it.
Absolutely.
Atul, may I?
Yes, sir.
I always found that there are so many decisions that the principal or the senior management team makes where some of the people, faculty members or others, may feel that the decision is not right. So there should be a person to go to person when you think the decision making has not been right, and we would listen to this person with more respectfully. So please go to that person and convince him about your worldview.
Yes, I think this is also very important and very needed in the future schools. There has to be because there will be so many decisions that are going to be taken in the next 2 years or so. So please appoint somebody who teachers can go and talk to them about it and say, okay, look, we don't agree with this particular decision. We need to discuss this more. And I think you understand both the points very positively. That's a very good suggestion, sir. Harinder, go ahead.
Okay. So Ranjana, yes, sir.
I just want to add one thing, that the it depends very much on relationships that we have. Senior, junior, if we have very good relationships, you can approach anybody and really say anything in any way you want. I think cooped up in our ivory towers, we sometimes forget to make those relationships in our schools as principals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So Ranjana Chok, a teacher from St. Columbus, Delhi, wants to know what trainings should she attend to equip herself to evolve as a educator leader. Bala sir, would you like to take up this question and guide Ranjana?
Well, I think the days we go for a training are all now outdated, because any number of training programs you can learn, because you're in a world of anytime, anywhere learning. But important aspect is self-learning today. Whether it is a teacher or a principal, it doesn't matter. The whole click of a button, so much of information, so many of the skills are available. So all that you need is a passion to grow. And if you have that passion to grow, the knowledge will be at your fingertips, and you don't want somebody else to tell you where to go. That's my view.
All right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Shogi, Jaya Jacob, coordinator from Bharti Vidya Bhavan, Kochi, wants to know, it's a long question, if leadership qualities are a born trait or developed over the years. Is it possible for everyone to become a leader? Is it possible to acquire the skills to become a leader through training? That I think Bala sir has already answered. So the first two parts.
It's all relative. When we talk about leadership, what are we talking about? We're talking in absolute terms. We don't compare leaders. So certainly, there are certain qualities that we are born with. Whether they contribute to our growth as a leader or not, time will tell. But also we learn. I think majority of our leadership abilities are acquired as we go along, as we educate ourselves and we learn from experience and we do a lot of things. So we are born with certain qualities which is inbuilt in us, but they contribute in what we learn and how we learn them. May I suggest something? I've done a lot of work in the field of training. I can suggest something for everybody, right? From teachers to principals, everybody. There's a training program that I attended that did not have anything to do with education, but it really touched upon human reality, who we are as human beings. And it put everything in perspective. You see, in the education field, we are all working with human beings, with children, with teachers, with parents, human beings. And we actually don't really have a common understanding of who we are as human beings. What is the true reality? What is the purpose of life and all of that? I highly recommend, if you can catch hold of such a training program, it will put everything. The skills that we need as teachers, the system will make sure you go into the classroom, you will know. You will learn how to pick up those skills. You will learn how to write a lesson plan. But the finer nuances of what it takes to be a teacher, a leader, are more important, and we'll have to look for that.
Yeah, and what I'll add, Harinder, just one sentence to Jaya's answer. Look at Mahatma Gandhi's life. When Mahatma Gandhi was in South Africa, when he had gone there, he did not have leadership traits. In fact, he was an introvert. His communication skills were not very good. But he became the father of our nation. Okay. So if Mahatma Gandhi can transform from being an introvert lawyer to becoming the father of a nation, I don't think there is anybody who cannot learn leadership. It's not something that you're born with. There is no leadership gene. And the son of a leader cannot be a leader, as shown by Abhishek Bachchan, I think. So he has proven that statement that there are no genes that follow from Amitabh Bachchan to Abhishek Bachchan. So we all can learn all these things, and please try to learn all these things. India needs, just 130 seconds more. India has a dearth of competent school leaders.
Absolutely.
Dearth. And I'm saying dearth may be a very polite word to be used. We don't have competent school leaders. There are 350,000 private schools in India. There are 1.5 million total schools in India. Let's look at how, if there is a national exam for principals, where a curriculum is set by ICSL, I can vouch 95% of principals will fail. But so we need you guys, all of you guys who are listening, we need good school leaders. So be a leader, man. We have to do it. And then the last question.
Okay, this one is for Arpit again. Asha Sharma, Principal, Indian Learner Zone Academy, Kuwait. She's keen to know as to what new areas should a seasoned leader focus on looking into the changing trends. What are the biggest gaps or the widest gaps which need to be bridged?
I think for me, critical thinking and problem solving are pretty much very wide gaps. I think most of us are pretty much deficient with. We encounter new and new problems every day, but coming up with innovative solutions has been a sort of vacuum, and we continue to use the same approach more and more. And it's time to be a little more creative and think out of the box into letting students do their own and finding their own niche. So I think those are the skills, and those are the kind of that growth mindset that school leaders need to focus on.
Yeah.
Thank you. Over to you, Atul. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. It's been a great discussion on school leadership. Very valuable takeaways for everybody in the audience. And I hope that some of you in the audience decide to pursue school leadership. I'm very thankful to all my panelists, Mr. Shogi joining us from Pune, Arpit ji, thank you very much for joining us. Pramod sir, again, a pleasure. We'll have you more often now. And Bala sir, obviously. Thank you so much for bringing in a flavor to this discussion. Harinder, thank you. Shilpi, thank you. Shilpi, I think you got your answer that age has nothing to do with you being a principal of a very big school, right?
Sir, I've heard it many a times in my life. Act like a principal, be like the one. And log khade kyun nahi hote when you go by? Why is the PRO sitting because you're passing by? But all I've always known is that you see, I am one among equals, and servant leadership is what I genuinely believe in, and that's what we need, sir, and that's what we've heard. And I want to congratulate everybody here. I think this is the best Friday at 5 session. I have enjoyed it thoroughly. It's
Good, I'm
fun.
so happy. Very quick announcements. There is a feedback form that Priya will put in the chat. Please do give us your feedback. ICSL is also conducting Connect to Learn workshops together with Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center of Ministry of Education, Government of India. These workshops are held on Saturday and Sunday. Please take up these workshops. The next one is going to be on creating multiple choice questions. And also, we will share with you another wonderful event, which is a World Teachers Quiz. So, World Teachers Quiz is being organized. We are going to be sending all of you, because you have registered for this Friday at 5, we are going to be sending you a link. Please do register and enjoy. There is no entry fee, and you get to see whether you are the smartest teacher in the world. And if you are, then you can be the smartest school leader also. So please enjoy your weekend, have fun, and do come back. Next time, we're going to be talking about competency-based education, which is something that CBSE is taking up now. That is going to be 56th Friday at 5. And I want to thank all my panelists once again for joining us. Have a great weekend, all of you guys, and we'll see you again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enables curriculum that helps schools take classes in the online and offline mode. All these components focus on blended learning and empower your teachers and improve the teaching learning process in online and offline classrooms. To implement Milestone or to schedule a demonstration in your school, visit our website www.milestone.in or call on our toll-free number 1800-102-8547.
Priya, I think we can stop the live streaming on Facebook.